Hello, everybody, and welcome into a new Patriots film room. I am Evan Lazar for CLNS Media, and today we are going to break down Mac Jones's performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 4. And the first thing I want to say, just big picture-wise, about Mac Jones and the narrative that you hear from pretty much everybody, but especially the national media right now, I would say we're getting way too caught up in air yards and average depth of target and things about pushing the football down the field and hitting on those 20 plus yard throws that everybody seems to be infatuated with. And the reason being is that explosive plays typically lead to offenses scoring more points. And I get that, but not every explosive play needs to be a 60-yard touchdown on a deep ball from Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, whatever quarterback you want to name that throws the ball deep a lot. So not every big play needs to come that way. Big plays can come in a lot of different shapes and forms. And for this Patriots offense, using a short and intermediate passing attack that then creates big plays with yak opportunities is going to be their bread and butter. That's how they're going to win games this year until they figure out their offensive line, until they add more speed on the outside than just Nelson Aguilar. The opportunities to push the football down the field are just not going to be there for this offense. And for Mac specifically, definitely fits his style of play a lot better. This short and intermediate passing game, get the ball out quickly, spread the field, and allow him to see things fast and get the ball out. That definitely fits his game a lot more than asking him to go back and drop 7 steps and throw the football 60 yards down the field. So that's the first thing I want to point out. And really what I'm more caught up in with Mac Jones here moving forward is executing this style of offense at a high level and taking advantage of the things that the defense gives him and what Josh McDaniels is giving him, and executing and playing well within the structure that McDaniels is putting out there and allowing him to succeed at what he's good at. And over the course of the season, we've been a little bit hard on McDaniels. And Week 4 against the Bucs, I thought he really got into a rhythm with his play calling and is starting to understand conceptually what Mac Jones is good at and how they can call the game to cater it towards Mac Jones's strengths as a passer. And just not Mac, it's also the personnel around Mac and how this Patriots offense is built from a personnel standpoint with all 11 guys on the field. This just suits the way that they need to play in terms of that as well. So again, don't get too caught up in the air yards. Don't get too caught up in the throws of 20 plus yards and the big plays down the field. Let's dissect and discuss Mac Jones's performance within the confines of what the Patriots are asking him to do and what is best for the Patriots, not necessarily what is the most aesthetically pleasing. So let's pull up the plays of the week this week and get into some of this tape for Mac Jones. And I want to start, as we always do, with the good stuff, and then let's get into some of the bad stuff. Sorry, just still trying to figure out the kinks of this software. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff, and then we'll get into some of the stuff that I think that Mac needs to improve on from this game and see on tape and recognize better next time. So let's start with some of the quick game stuff. And what's quick game? That means in the drop, Mac Jones is going to make a read as he's dropping to his set point. Once he gets to the top of his drop, make a throw. Quick decision. You're not going to really stand around and linger and look around the field. This is built to be a quick pass. So the Patriots are going to give Jones is this little snag concept here to the strength there and really to the closed end of the field, right? You have all this space out here with the ball on the hash mark. The Patriots are going to run this into the boundary. And what they do is they get this snag route by Hunter Henry, and then they're going to release the running back into the flat here, Damian Harris. And what Mac is going to read is this linebacker, Levante David, right here in the middle of the defense. If Levante David matches Damian Harris's route and flares out to the flat, that's going to open a passing window to Hunter Henry on the snag. If Levante David drops into zone and drops into a hook zone in the way of the snag route from Hunter Henry, then with this corner bailing on the outside, you should be able to get some yards in the flat to Damian Harris. So as we roll the play a little bit, you're going to see Lavonte David. He's going to come out here, and he is going to match this route from Damian Harris. Mac Jones sees Lavonte David going out here with Damian, and he sees that that's the matchup. Here comes the passing window for Hunter Henry. And as soon as he gets to the top of the drop, hits his back foot, balls out. There you go. Those are the types of plays. That's a first down play, gaining about 7 or 8 yards for the Patriots. That's an extension of your running game. That's the way that you can stay ahead of the chains. That's an effective, efficient play on first down. So here's another quick game style concept that the Patriots are going to run. And they're going to do this one from more of a condensed formation. So you have the stack alignment over here. You're going to have Kendrick Bourne motion into the stack alignment over there. And what they're going to do is, or the Bucs, is they're going to flare out these linebackers here and here to try to give help to those in-breaking routes out of these stacks, to try to help them close off the middle of the field. And what's going to end up happening is that Bourne, he's going to come in and he's going to run what's called an over-the-ball route. So if we roll this just a little bit longer, what Bourne's going to do is he's going to recognize, along with Mac, that these linebackers are going to flare out here and here, and he's just going to run a little sit route right over the center, right here into the middle of this zone. And as soon as Max sees those linebackers separate here, he is just going to hit Bourne right over the middle. See, there's Bourne open on the over the ball route. And you see the top of the drop. He hits that top of the drop, and the ball is just out. There's no hesitation. And that allows Bourne to then turn up the field and get all those yards after the catch. So that ends up being a pretty significant gain. This is, I believe, another first or second down play. This ends up being a pretty significant gain on a really short throw because Max sees those linebackers widen, and then he gets the football in Kendrick Bourne's hands quickly and accurately and allows Bourne to run with the ball. So again, yak plays like that, rhythm, timing, just as important as anything else when it comes to yak, not just about having receivers that can run with the football in their hands. And I think Bourne has actually shown a couple of times that he's pretty good at that. But overall, it's not just about the ball carrier, right? It's also about the passer and the accuracy and the rhythm of the passer being able to get the ball into those guys' hands to let them run with it and not have that defense collapse on them quickly. This is probably the best downfield throw for Mac Jones in this entire game. And it's a really nice job of coverage manipulation with his eyes in his drop. So what he's going to do this time is he knows the entire play that he's coming to Kendrick Bourne on this dig route here on the back side. On the strong side, actually. Tight ends over here as well. So what Jonnu Smith's going to do is he's going to release in the flat, and that's going to take the flat defender or the hook defender on this side of the field with him out of the passing lane. But Mac knows that he's going to have another defender probably right about here dropping into a zone that he's going to have to move out of the way. So what's he do in his drop is, as the rush here is coming, here comes Joe Tyrone, who is just an absolute animal for the Bucs in this game, but that's besides the point. He's dropping off the line of scrimmage as they bring this replacement blitz here on the inside. And as Mac drops, he's going to look down the left side, and he's going to move Tyrone towards the sideline out of this dig window. He knows he's going here to Bourne the entire time. He just has to get these linebackers to widen again so that he can create this passing lane. The next thing that he does is buys himself a little bit of time in the pocket. Here comes the blitz, and he's able to then sidestep the pressure and just buy that little extra second of time. And look what he's done to Tyrone at this point from pointing his eyes where he points his eyes. Watch this player again right here and just watch how he's able to manipulate him out of the coverage window by staring down the left side. You see Tyrone goes out here and he widens just enough here to get Mac Jones the opportunity to hit Bourne coming across the field there. So he sidesteps the pressure, keeps his eyes down the field, manipulates and moves Tyrone out of the passing window, and then darts it to Kendrick Bourne over the middle for a 17-yard gain on 2nd and 18. Puts them ahead of the chains again to get them into a third down situation that they can really get a first down in. So here's it from the back end angle. You see the sidestep, but see, this is the key here, is this coverage player right there. Because Johnny Smith's release over here, he's going to get this defender out of there. Mac has to get this defender out of the passing lane. And as he's sidestepping, he's able to get Tyrone to bite, and then he's able to make that throw to Kendrick Bourne. So those are the types of plays that you see Mac Jones really succeeding in, right? These quick hitting routes over the middle of the field, get the football out quickly, hit these receivers in breaking routes, and manipulate the coverage in the middle of the field to get them out of the passing window. Here's where we're seeing Mac be able to push the ball a little bit down the field. And this is something that the Patriots are probably going to have to live with for a lot of the year, just based off the personnel that they have, is 25 to 30 yard shot plays downfield instead of 50 to 60 yard bombs, right? Instead of throwing a bomb here to the end zone, the Patriots are just going to get a chunk of yards throwing a man-to-man matchup with Jakobi Meyers. So what the Patriots get here is a two-man look from the defense. You have the two high safeties, man-to-man over here. And Mac knows that he has two vertical routes, Hunter Henry up the seam and Myers on the fade over here on this side of the field. And because he has both those vertical routes, he knows that this deep safety here can't help to both of these routes. So this safety is going to be put in conflict in terms of his help. He can either help over the top of Hunter Henry or he can help over the top of Jakobi Meyers, but it's going to be really difficult to help over the top of both routes. So Mac's going to look over on that side of the field, whichever the safety ends up gravitating towards. And this time, like most safeties in this situation, they play it inside out so that he's going to stay over the top of Henry's route. Well, that means that I have one-on-one at the bottom of the screen with Jakobi Meyers on Richard Sherman, who was just signed on Wednesday, and the Patriots obviously rightfully went right after him. So as we roll the play a little bit, you're going to see the safety in the middle of the field bracket here and here with the underneath linebacker on Hunter Henry. He's going to close off that route, and that leaves this one-on-one matchup here at the bottom of the screen for Mac Jones with Jakobi Meyers and Richard Sherman. And Jakobi Meyers runs a great release at the line of scrimmage. We roll it back just a little stretch release, really good release here from Jakobi. Shakes Richard Sherman at the line of scrimmage, gets that space. Mac pulls the string on the back shoulder, and we get a big completion. So not exactly the 50 to 60 yard bomb down the field, but still a chunk yardage, a 25 to 30 yard play. And the Patriots will like those. They'll live with those. Now, let's get into some of the things that I saw from Mac that I didn't necessarily like. And the reason being, again, this is not about, he had this receiver 45 yards down the field and he missed a touchdown by not throwing it deep. What I'm more concerned about with Mac and what I want him to develop in as we move forward is the reads that the Patriots are going to get consistently, and Mac Jones needs to be able to make these types of throws in these concepts. So the Patriots start, and I love everything about this setup. The Patriots start from under center. It's 11 personnel with the single back in the backfield in a run formation. They are then going to audible to what Mac is going to say, and you're also going to see him do the free throw signal with his hand. Michael Jordan. What's Michael Jordan? It's Hasi Juke. It's the Patriots' best play or their favorite play. So as we roll it a little bit here before we get to the post-snap stuff, Mac's going to start from under center. He's going to recognize the nickel. He's going to recognize the single high coverage right here as well. That's really the key part of this, is that he recognizes single high. So when he recognizes single high, he says, I'm going to check out of this running play and I'm going to check into a pass play. Exactly what the Patriots want him to do. So we go from single back under center against single high to now we're going to go out. Here comes Jordan. There's the free throw signal from Mac Jones. Jordan. And now we're 5 wide. Boom. I love it. This forces the defense to communicate. It allows them to tack single high with the passing concept. Everything about what they've done so far, I absolutely love. Now, here comes the problem for Mac. Single high look. You have the corners angling themselves inside towards the quarterback. This screams cover 3. Everything about this is cover 3. And what Mac is going to do is he is going to read the wrong route here. So in Hossie juke, when you get single high, cover 3 coverage, the seam hitch is your read. All right. So you have the seam hit over here, you have the hitch route over there, because one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get man-to-man coverage and you're going to be able to throw the seam as more of like a slot fade against single high, and that's going to be a really good matchup for Nelson Agholor here. The other thing that's going to happen if it's zone coverage, which is what it ends up being, is that the defense can't guard both routes in Haas. And I talk about just the Haas part here, just the hitch seam combination. So you have the hitch route on the outside, and when you get cover 3, this corner is going to have to bail into his third of the field, and this slot corner is going to come into the flat to cover the hitch. If the slot corner stays over that slot route, the seam route, then you have the bailing corner with the slot corner held up inside, and you throw the hitch. If this slot corner bails out and goes to the flat, then you're going to have the seam splitting the two deep third defenders, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So this is a cover 3 look through and through, or at least a single high look. So you should be, if you're Mac Jones, working hitch seam. And the reason why he doesn't, or the reason why this is a problem that he goes to the option route, he's going to end up going to Jakobi Meyers in the juke spot here. The reason why this is a problem is because in a single high look, in a cover 3 look, the underneath linebackers here and here are going to have this juke route bracketed. So Jacoby's going to come over here in the middle and run a little option, and they're going to have 2 defenders inside out of him, and there's no place for him to go. It's not open. So in cover 4, he might have a matchup here against this linebacker in man-to-man sort of pattern match style coverage. In cover 2, these linebackers might bail out and they might widen like this. And that's going to open up the middle of the field for Jacoby to just sit down and take that route. But against cover 3, they're going to pinch and they're going to stay inside. So you have to get off you have to work the hitch seam combo. So as we roll the play, what you're going to see is I want you to watch this slot defender here. He's going to bail out into the flat, into his responsibility, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and that is going to leave Nelson Agholor wide open up the seam. And this is not a bomb. This is not a deep ball. This is not a 60-yard throw. These are the types of throws that the Patriots need Mac Jones to see, and reads they need him to see, and throws they need him to make. So as we roll the play, there it goes. There goes the slot corner. He's going to come out. This corner is going back. And here's Nelson Agholor, and he's wide open. I mean, this is a throw they need to have him make right here, wide open. And if he hits him, look, I hate predicting yak. I really do. But if he hits him and he breaks the tackle here, he might run for a touchdown if he hits him in stride. Instead, you see this linebacker here and this linebacker there, bracketing Jakobi Meyers coming over the middle, and Mac is going to end up throwing this ball into tight coverage and leaving a big play on the field, and it falls incomplete. It's actually almost intercepted. Now, if we look at it from the end zone angle, I can kind of understand or see, or we don't have the end zone angle, my fault. Let's watch it from here again. We can kind of see why Mac comes off this read, I think, and that's because this linebacker right here is going to sort of flash like he's going to go out and try to get underneath the seam route, and it's just a little flash out. See that little flash that he kind of leans out just a little bit, and I think that scares Mac off, and he thinks that those linebackers are going to widen, and he's going to have Jakobi Meyers more open than he does. But this needs to go to Nelson Agholor up the seam. These are the types of reads that the Patriots need Mac Jones to make, and that would have been a big play if he had seen Agholor. Now, here comes another play. And look, I know everybody wants to like get caught up in the offensive line and the protection, and it's not been very good, and I get that. And this little stunt on the inside from Vita Vea and Joe Tyrone is going to really give the left side problems. But what I want to talk about is how Mac Jones can recognize things pre-snap and be able to get this pressure beat by just getting the football out quickly. So again, the pressure and the breakdown on the offensive line is not on the quarterback. But what the quarterback can do is he can get this ball out quicker because a stunt takes some time, right? You're not going to run a stunt and have that get home immediately. So there's some time here for the quarterback to make a throw and get the ball out and beat the defense or beat the pressure. And what the Bucs give him over here against this bunch set is pretty clear. It's lock and level. And what lock and level means is that this defender is on this guy, this defender is on that guy, and Richard Sherman on the inside is on number 3. And you can tell that that's the coverage because look at how they're all at different levels of the defense. The reason why they're aligning at different levels is because teams love to run pick routes out of these bunch formations. And if you're locked, if you're in man coverage and you're all up on the line of scrimmage together, well, that causes traffic, right? And that allows those rubs to work. So what defenses will do is they go lock and level. They stagger. They go on different levels so that they can avoid running into each other. Based off of all of that, based off of this pre-snap alignment, you can see its lock and level rules. And once again, here's the one I want to highlight. So Sherman has number 3, Jacoby Myers, and he is inside leverage on Myers, and Myers already has him beat here. He is going to run a speed out into the flat against an out leveraged defender. And Mac Jones needs, not because, again, we're not talking about deep throws here. We're talking about recognizing what he is getting pre-snap to cancel things out quickly and make quick decisions with the football so that the pressure isn't as much of a factor in the pocket. So because he should recognize that Sherman is inside leverage and pretty darn far away from Jacoby Myers here, when Myers runs this route, this speed out, this ball should be out instantly. This ball should be out quickly, and he should be hitting Jacoby as he's coming out of his break, and that should beat the pressure by Tyrone and Vita Vea. So as we roll the play, here comes the route, and you see that point man blocks here, we're locked here, and here's Sherman trying to get over the top, and Myers just has all this room out here. So at this point, when he reaches the top of his drop, if he had recognized pre-snap these were lock and level rules on the bunch formation, and he had gotten over here to Jacoby Myers faster, we're still working through this stunt pressure, right? This stunt pressure still hasn't really come to fruition just yet. Jacoby's going to come out of his route. Here he comes. And look, if Mac has thrown the ball already, this is wide open in the flat. Look at all this space over here for Jacoby Myers too, to turn up the field and catch and run with it. So these are the types of pre-snap alignments that Mac Jones has got to see, and he's got to be able to get this football to Jacoby Myers. Now, it's a 3rd and long. Does Jacoby make it to the sticks? That's on him, right? That's on him to make something happen with the ball on his hands. But based off of the alignment of the defense and how they are covering this bunch set with their rules, this ball should have been out to Jacoby instantly, and he needs to recognize this. And that's going to negate that pressure. That sack is never going to get home if Mac Jones gets this ball into the flat to Jacoby faster. So those are some of the plays that I look at from Mac, and I see, okay, what can the Patriots do with this offense? What can they do with this personnel? What can they do with this rookie quarterback? Quick, short, intermediate passing game, get the ball into the receiver's hands, pick up yards after the catch. That's where the Patriots are going to survive offensively this season. And if they're going to get there, and this is something that's going to be really stressful on the rookie quarterback. And I know it's not necessarily fair to put all this mental stuff on Mac Jones, but if they are going to get there, those last 2 plays, those reads are reads that Mac Jones is going to have to master, and he is going to have to make consistently, because they are going to need him to get the football out, and they're going to need him to put the ball in his playmakers' hands as quickly as possible to allow them to create yards after the catch. Because if you're not hitting the 40-yard bomb down the field, well, then you better be hitting the 15-yard catch and run. So those are the types of plays that the Patriots are highlighting out of Mac Jones in week 4. The good news is We showed a bunch early on in the film breakdown that Mac Jones executed well and threw the ball well and really played well within structure on rhythm, quick game type of throws and those intermediate shots as well. That's the positive. It's working most of the time. But for the Patriots to really get this offense going, they need Mac Jones to make those two reads at the end there. And those are going to be plays that they're going to watch in the film room, and Josh McDaniels and him are going to break down. And based off of what we've seen from Mac from the start of training camp, this is a guy that gets better and learns from his mistakes. So I don't expect him to miss those Haas reads. I don't expect him to miss the lock and level on the bunch set a whole lot more into his rookie season. I think he will learn from those things and get better at it. But the Patriots need him to get better at it. They need him to be an efficient, sharp, mental, quick game type of read. That's how they need him to process things. They need him to win with his brain and win with his eyes. And that's how the Patriots are going to win football games and start putting up some points offensively. So you can check out the rest of our breakdowns on Mac Jones and the Patriots offense and on the Patriots defense on CLNSmedia.com. And we'll keep it right here on Patriots Press Pass for all of your Mac Jones and New England Patriots coverage. Thanks for watching, everybody. CLNS Media's Patriots coverage is brought to you by the Legends brand. High-performance apparel with style and comfort that you will want to wear all day long. Use the promo code PATS20 for 20% off your first order. That is legends.com.